Regarding the EU Action Plan for the Circular Economy, what will be the measures for the products, for the production? And what impact will this have on products and services?
Regarding the EU Action Plan for Circular Economy, what will be the measures that might impact products and productions, services, etc.? The action plan that was promoted by the EU, mainly in relation with the EU Green Deal of 2020, began a revolution that probably will influence the industry and how we perceive products, the difference between different kinds of procurement strategies, etc., 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 that will heavily impact on our life in the future. Circular economy per se is not a novel concept, but the way in which it will be deployed and will be shaped future of our life will be substantial. How does circular economy work? Normally, we think about the production system as a linear function, as a linear process in which we start taking our raw material, transporting them into a production factory, producing a good, and then deliver the good to the main markets in which we consume. And after the consumption activity, we will just throw it away. It will become waste of different kinds, and then we go back to the market and the linear process starts again. The circular economy process is kind of based on the assumption that we can change the shape of this production process, not through a linear process, but through a circular one, in which raw material are used together with the recycling elements and material of the process that ended right before that. And as such, we can reduce waste, obviously. We can optimize the use of energy. We can promote the reuse of different products, minimizing what is thrown away out of a specific system. What does that mean? It means rethinking the way in which we produce, the way in which we purchase goods and services, and obviously it allows us to improve the links between different actors, because what can be a waste for one actor, economic actor, could be a useful resource for another actor. And obviously the cycle is effective if all different members of this cycle cooperate together, and therefore there is a governance issue, there is need for right incentive, and there is a need for new investment, new activities that either organize or are active part of this new economic paradigm.
How will the transition to a circular economy benefit our economy? In particular, what impact will this have on the local economy?
How these work? Different government bodies are promoting different kind of approach in terms of circular economy, and the circular economy concept could be actually applied in different ways depending on the supply chains and depending on the different specific industry or industrial sectors. And as such, while there are specific general definition of circular economy, the impact on services, the impact on products might differ quite substantially, depending on the industry characteristic. There are a series of elements, especially within the EU Action Plan, that are, in my opinion, quite important in order to understand the impact of circular economy in our future and the impact in terms of achieving long-term sustainability-related goals. Within these, there is the link that especially the EU promoted between the circular economy concept and other strategic action, such as the green procurement, and therefore the fact that a public body, especially, should always take into consideration the footprint and the environmental impact of what is procured as service of good, and as such boosting the really specific concept of circular economy, together with the possibility to promote smart innovations and to embed the circular economic concept within the regional development. So the very, very base of any social interaction. This last element is of particular importance because at the end of the day, in our everyday life, we are the main polluters on certain kind of way, and we are the ones that represent the last step of the linear production process. As such, changing social habits, changing people way to think about the waste is a key element in circular economy. This is why circular economy is something that is of particular importance and relevance for smart cities, for instance, the reuse of energy, the reuse of products. It's of particular importance in relation with the concept of the product as a service. What is that? Is the fact that sometime, while we used to have the concept of owning something, quite oftenly it's better to just use something, and therefore passing from the ownership concept to the use concept, to the user paradigm, in which once we have ended the use of something, we could pass that something to somebody else that can enjoy that. We pay for the service, we do not pay for the ownership. This is something that happened, for instance, in the media company, and this is something that is going to happen in mobility and other kind of industries. And that is obviously linked with circular economy, because it's a way to facilitate the circular concept, not owning, but using. That's really important. How this is going to impact companies, how it's going to impact citizens. Well, the main core business of many companies is still producing and selling, while a lot of these companies will be linked to the capability of making the product available to a plurality of users. Again, citizens will change again their paradigm, not in purchasing the good, but in purchasing the service. From a general well-being, it will probably an increase for a sustainability well-being point of view. That will definitely be an incredible advantage, because we will be capable of reducing waste, increasing the value of what we do. That is definitely linked with small, medium-sized enterprises, not just because statistically they represent the majority of the firms within the European Union. It's not just because they are the backbone of many cities and urban environment. It's also because a lot of them will need to change and transform from companies that produce to companies that make services and products available to citizens. The smart innovation, in that sense, I already cited that, is definitely an important element in all this discussion. The way in which small and medium enterprises are normally capable of innovating themselves, innovating what they do, being capable of promoting startups, spin-offs, etc., that are definitely what the application of circular economy concept needs to be and needs to developed. As already mentioned, there might be different impacts on different industrial sectors, and that is something that we should take into account. As many innovation, there will be winners and there will be losers. There will be companies that sadly they will lose business and they will go out of the market, and that's something that we should take into account. This is why there is pressure in being the leader of these kind of innovations, because normally within the innovation studies, the innovation approaches, being capable of innovating is the only way to be at the forefront of a process, and therefore being able of governing the process and also to take advantage of this process. And that's again linked to the traditional opportunities that small as medium-sized enterprises are capable of building up from smart innovation concept.
How sustainability has environmental, social and economic commercial gains for cities, citizens and SMEs.
I told you there will be differentiated application of circular economy, of the circular approach respect to different industries. One of the key elements, in my opinion, will be the shift of the product as a service concept and the circular approach within the mobility sector. Why I'm mentioning this? Because this will be the huge change that will allow us, our cities, to thrive, and a variety of companies to create value for the citizens, and where we will probably have the most of the benefits from an environmental point of view. We are used to see cities with thousands of cars, with thousands of motorbikes, which with public transport that are not always effective. If we change the paradigm and not owning the car, and not owning the vehicle, but in buying the service, the capability of driving the car or the motorbike, or to integrate this system together with the public transport, and therefore being able of always choosing the right choice, the right solution that is generating for us most of the value, that will be definitely the way to maximize, to optimize the use of resources. Obviously, there will be less cars because most of the time the cars are parked, are not used. There will be the possibility to increase accessibility and at the same time reduce the environmental impact, for instance, of mobility system, or making a lot of other companies able to enter the market offering this kind of services, something that is not that common. We observe, and this is a really interesting element, in my opinion, we observe something similar with bike sharing, for instance. That is the first step. It will be better when everything will be a product as a service, mobility as a service in this case. Similar things will be observed in other sectors. This was just an example. And the important thing is that circular economy will create new business opportunities. There is one condition: being capable of governing the process, not just waiting for the impacts to change our environment. Because in that case, probably there will be citizens that will be left behind. There will be companies that will pay cost of this transition. And this is the reason why we need to invest in new knowledge of the process. We need to invest and create incentive to different stakeholders, urban stakeholders, citizens, to embrace this great revolution.